All right, let's talk about AI. We've all been blown away by what it can do. But is it really thinking? Or is it just, a fancy parrot? That's exactly what we're digging into today. We're talking about AI reasoning. And trust me, it's the huge leap from just guessing the next word to actually genuinely solving tough problems. So let's get into it. I love this quote. Beyond autocomplete, getting AI to think. It just nails the whole point, right? We've all played with AI that can whip up a poem or spit out some code, and it feels like magic. But really, a lot of that is just, superpowered autocomplete. Reasoning is what comes next. It's the real frontier. It's about getting an AI to stop just predicting and start solving. Okay, so this table breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got your standard autocomplete AI. It's fast, it's creative, it's all about matching patterns it's seen before. But then, look at the other side, reasoning AI. This is a totally different beast. It's not trying to be flashy or fast, it's deliberate, it's structured. Its whole goal is to be correct. So let's dig a little deeper into this whole beyond autocomplete idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, tools like ChatGPT are absolutely incredible, but at their core, the way they work, it's still a really fancy form of guessing. And that's where you start to hit a wall, especially when the stakes are high and getting it right isn't just nice, it's essential. So that brings us to the big question. What happens when just guessing isn't good enough? Seriously, think about it. What if you're using AI for a medical diagnosis, or a financial audit, or some critical scientific research? A creative guess suddenly sounds terrifying, right? It's not just unhelpful, it could be flat out dangerous. You need something you can actually trust. You need accuracy.
So how do we fix that? How do we get an AI to be trustworthy? Well, it's kind of simple, actually. We teach it to slow down. Yeah, instead of asking it to make this one giant magical leap to the right answer, we teach it to take small, logical steps. And that structured, step-by-step thinking, that is the heart and soul of AI reasoning.
Okay, so here's the more textbook definition. AI reasoning is basically a method that makes an AI solve a problem by breaking it down into logical steps. It's not just about predicting the next word anymore. The whole focus shifts. It's less about the final answer and way more about the process, the journey it took to get there. A journey that, and this is key, we can actually check.
But how do we actually make an AI do this? What's the secret sauce? Well, the technique that really blew the doors open on all this is called chain of thought. And honestly, it's a beautifully simple idea. You basically just tell the AI to show its work. Yep, just like your high school math teacher used to tell you. Don't just give me the answer, show me how you got there.
And it works exactly like you would imagine. Think about a tricky math word problem. You wouldn't just look at it and magically know the answer, right? No way. First, you'd break it down into smaller pieces. You solve part 1. Then you use that answer to solve part 2. And you keep going step by step until you've got all the pieces to build your final conclusion. That's exactly what chain of thought makes the AI do.
And of course, people are already building on this amazing idea. It's not just standing still. For instance, there's a technique called self-consistency. This is pretty clever. You ask the AI the same question but phrase it a few different ways. And then you just pick the answer that comes up the most. It's like the AI is taking a poll of its own brain to double-check itself. And then you have something even more powerful called program of thought, where the AI literally writes and runs computer code to figure out the answer. That is a total game changer, especially for anything involving complicated math or logic.
Okay, but it gets even cooler. This is where things get really interesting. Because the most advanced AI today doesn't just sit there and think all by itself. We're actually giving it tools, just like we use tools to solve problems that are way too hard to do in our own heads.
And when you think about it, it's a superhuman idea, isn't it? I mean, you're not going to try to calculate your company's entire financial forecast in your head, are you? No, you're going to open up a spreadsheet. Well, we're applying that exact same logic to AI now, and it's making it so much more powerful and way more reliable. Here's a perfect example. We all know that even the biggest, baddest language models can sometimes mess up basic math. It's just a weird quirk. But what if you give it access to a calculator? Boom. It can just hand off the math problem, get a perfect answer back every single time, and move on. Problem totally solved.
Now let's take that up a notch. The AI can also write and execute code. This is huge. It lets the model tackle really complex logic or chew through massive amounts of data in a way that would be, pretty much impossible if it was just using words.
And last but definitely not least, maybe the biggest game changer of all, giving the AI access to search.
You know that whole problem where an AI's knowledge is stuck in the past? This fixes that. It can now go out, browse the web, and pull in up-to-the-minute information. This keeps its answers grounded in what's actually happening in the world, right now.
Okay, so we have an AI that can think step by step, and it has a toolbox of super-powered tools. But why does any of this really matter? Why is this such a big deal? Well, it all boils down to one simple thing: the real-world value of being right.
So let's just ask it straight up. Where is this actually useful? Where does all this advanced reasoning stuff actually make a difference out there in the real world?
The answer? It's simple, but it's powerful. It's useful anywhere that correctness is completely non-negotiable. Any field where close enough is a disaster, and you absolutely, positively have to have the right answer.
I mean, just think about it. Scientific research. You need results that are accurate and that other people can verify. Or how about financial modeling? One tiny error there could cost millions. And then you get into fields like medicine or debugging really complex software. We're talking about lives and critical systems on the line. In every single one of these examples, having a process that you can check and verify, that's what builds trust. That's what delivers real, tangible value.
So, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Making AI reason better isn't just about throwing more data at it or building bigger models. The real secret is giving these models two things: structure, like that chain of thought process, and tools, like a calculator, a code interpreter, and a search engine. Structure and tools. That's the magic combination.
And that really leaves us with one last huge question to chew on. As these AIs get better and better at reasoning, the conversation starts to shift, doesn't it? We stop asking, what can AI do? And we start asking a much more important question. What are the biggest, hardest, most important problems that we should ask it to solve next? And when you think about it that way, the possibilities are just absolutely incredible.